Simon in Germany. Simon, thank you so much for giving us a call back.
Yeah, nice to meet you, or nice to hear you guys again, or I guess this time just you. And I'm sorry, I forgot the co-host's name. So
Yeah, I believe you spoke with me and Kenneth, but I'm here with Nell tonight,
yeah,
and I'd love for you to take just a quick moment to catch the audience up on what we spoke about a few weeks ago.
yeah, we spoke about my troubles with accepting that I'm trans and my struggles on trying to figure out whether I want to transition or not. Especially since I come from a, let's say, non-supportive field.
Sure.
So family would not be supportive. One of my friends would not be supportive. In fact, he is very much not supportive so far. He's very religious, not Christian, but Buddhist. But yeah. Yeah, and I had to think about some things, and I said that I would call you guys back when I made at least a preemptive decision for now on what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to transition or what I'm going to do.
Sure. Well, thank you for honoring that. Catch me up on where you're at today.
Yeah, where I'm at today is, to be honest, I have had a bit of like, I wouldn't call it a full-on breakdown, but I have not been doing well lately, like mentally. And related to that, I've also like kind of given up on the idea of ever transitioning. I'm still going to therapy and I'm still getting the diagnosis, and my therapist also is telling me that he thinks it would be best for me to transition to help with my general problems, so like general anxiety disorder or depression, which he thinks is very much correlated to the gender dysphoria, due to people with gender dysphoria just having a generally heightened stress level. So things that would be still manageable in stress for normal people or healthy people would be a bit too much for like trans people. And yeah, but currently I'm thinking of not transitioning because I guess I've always been ridiculed for trying to be who I am. That's always been something that has happened to me. I honestly have never really been happy since I was 10 years old. And I think it might be easier to just carry on and be normal than to like go through with the transition, lose even the few things I have right now, and perhaps not even gain what I want in the first place, which is a family of my own, and which I wouldn't be able to get as easily due to the infertility, and well, that comes from the hormones, and also like the fear that I might never pass. And if I were to go through all this and never pass, then I don't think I would be happy with myself either. So yeah, that's where I am right now.
Yeah. I very much appreciate you sharing your story with us, and I just want to let you know that we definitely support you and whatever you believe is best for you. I do want to gently say that it always feels like forever when you're going through it. You know, in these moments, some of these changes and some of the things that you might like dream about could feel impossibly far away. But I recognize just how challenging the situation you're in truly is. Nell, is there anything that you might be able to offer Simon here?
These are really difficult decisions, and there's a lot of considerations. And follow your sense of what is right for you, and also listen to your counselor, and because they have experience with navigating these types of decisions, and sometimes they can guide you to discover what your feelings are. It's also maybe good to recognize that being trans or transitioning doesn't have to be a binary. So there may be a place where you can feel you're comfortable without fully transitioning socially in some way. Find your own comfort level if a full transition is not something you feel is right for you.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I thought about. I also had these thought exercises with myself where I would like, if I could secretly turn female and no one else would see me as that, they would still see me the way I am and only I would see me that way. Would I then be happy? And I thought I probably would be. I think because I don't think I would want to change my personality all too much when I were to transition. I just would feel more like me, I guess. But so far, every time I tried to be more like me, people have hated that, be it family or people in school or the like. So, yeah, let's just say I am not a person that tries to go with the flow of things. I'd rather be myself, and being yourself and being an individual is something that in this more collectivistic society that I live in here in Germany is very frowned upon. If you don't think like everyone else does, then you're usually the evil guy or the crazy guy or something. And I fear that if I also transition, that will get worse. I also have in my uni class, there's 2 trans people in there. And I've noticed that people whisper behind their backs and be hush hush about oh, are they actually trans? Are they whatever are they? They look so weird. And those are often the very liberal people or the lefty people. So the people that then pretend they're super pro-trans and stuff, and they're the ones that whisper behind their backs, and it didn't give me much confidence.
Sure. There's certainly a lot of challenges here, and the cost-benefit analysis of all of your choices come with razor-thin margins and a lot of bullshit, and I absolutely recognize that. I really appreciate the thought experiment you were describing of wondering what it would be like to just fully be yourself, but to have everybody see this avatar of how you look now. And it made me really wonder what it might feel like for you to be truly seen, to be in a relationship with somebody who would be able to see you as you are and offer kindness and a love and acceptance towards that person. I know that may feel like it is infinity far away right now, and that's okay. I'm definitely not pushing you to disclose anything to anybody that you don't feel safe with, but I certainly hope that that's in your future. To Nell's point, you don't have to fully socially transition in order to experience your gender or to have your gender experienced by somebody that you trust and care about. And I certainly hope for that experience for you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll definitely keep you guys updated if anything changes. I mean, I'm still going to therapy. I'm still getting the diagnosis. May I ask one more question before I leave about the original topic of the show today, before I brought up my own problems?
Yeah, please do.
I wanted to ask, I believe your co-host said that it's not good for trans people in prison to just be like put into male and female dorms depending on their genitals. But what would be the defining factor of where you put that person? Would it be just self identification, or what would the measures be? Like, what's the alternative?
I'm going to be idealistic and say in prisons, we need other ways of dealing with how we address social harm beyond locking people up. I don't think there is a good way to address it in our current system. Probably the problem with having separate facilities for trans persons would be that the prison systems have tended to, when you provide a separate type of facility for a group of people, you then fill that facility with more of those people. So it winds up making the issue of incarceration a bigger problem. Self-identification can be a problem. That's probably in part the best choice right now that we have. And California is actually working with that now. And from what I've heard in talking with some people out there, there are problems they're working through, but there are also good aspects to that. So there's no definite answer as to one thing is the best solution. It's something we're going to have to work with within our system that we have now, and looking forward to a better way of working with and dealing with social harm.
So not to be rude or anything, but wouldn't the better solution then not be to ask the question, what do we do with trans people in prison, and rather how do we generally improve the prison conditions for everyone? Because if you guys do that, then you would automatically, like, I believe that the main problem is just that your prison system is pretty horrible. So if you could like work on that, it might be better than like treating the whole illness will lessen the symptoms than if you just try to weaken the symptoms, you know?
That can be an approach. And certainly that's something we should be doing. But again, sometimes when we make improvements, that means we imprison more people. I think the experience in Europe and in Germany has been quite a bit different. Y'all's prison system, from what I've seen, is much better than ours, and you have improved it without incarcerating more people. In the United States, we incarcerate about, I believe now it's around 600 or 700 persons per 100,000. In most of the rest of the world, and especially in Europe, that number is around or below 100 persons per 100,000 people. And so, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you. I was just saying.
Oh, okay.
I think the main difference between at least the German system, with that one I'm familiar with, and the US system is just the approach of punitive versus rehabilitative incarceration. I believe that the German system is like 90% rehabilitative and 10% incarceration, punitive. Even though it's not like a hotel room or anything, it's still prison, but like I think the approach is very different. I think that's the main problem.
Our system is punitive and dehumanizing. And from what I've read of some of the European systems, they are much more humanizing and work toward reintegrating people back into society instead of separating them and hiding them from society. And so, yes, I would agree that that's a much better way of approaching it.
Yeah, the truth is, Simon, this is not just a issue of trans folks in prisons. This is a issue of people in prisons, and the entire system that we have built is ruled by economics and not by humanity, and is got a lot of problems in it. But thankfully, folks like Nell are doing what they can where they can for those who are most vulnerable. But it feels very, very small in the face of a gigantic problem.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for answering. I wish you guys a great show, and I'll hopefully talk to you later sometime in the next month or so.
Very much hope to hear from you. Take very good care, and we'll talk to you soon and hope for the best.
Thanks for your
Yeah,
questions.
bye-bye.